Why are you a morning person or a night owl? It feels like a simple question of personal discipline or your daily habits. For most of our lives, we are told that waking up early is the ultimate key to success. We hear the same advice constantly: go to bed earlier, set a stricter alarm, stop looking at your phone in the dark. But what if the time you naturally fall asleep has almost nothing to do with your willpower? What we have found out in recent years is far more fascinating and for millions of people deeply validating. Your sleep rhythm was chosen for you long before you ever drank your first cup of coffee or set your first morning alarm. Roughly 20% of the human population are true night owls. And this division is absolutely not a modern phenomenon caused by glowing screens or artificial light in our bedrooms. It is an ancient survival mechanism programmed right into our DNA. To understand why you stay up late, we have to look back at how humans used to live. Researchers have studied tribes of modern hunter gatherers like the Hadza people in Tanzania, who still live exactly like our ancient ancestors today, completely without electricity or modern technology. They wanted to see how humans sleep in a completely natural environment. And they found out something absolutely amazing. In a group of 30 people, there is almost not a single moment during the entire night when everyone is sleeping at the exact same time. Across hundreds of hours of observation, the researchers found that all members of the tribe were asleep simultaneously for only 18 minutes. Someone is always awake. Some people go to bed right after sunset and wake up at 4 in the morning. Others stay up talking or tending the fire until 2 in the morning and sleep until the sun is high in the sky. And that is because we do not all tick the same way. You did not choose your internal clock, just as you did not choose your eye color or your height. While your habits and your environment do play a small role, genetics loads the dice from the very start. Researchers have identified specific genes, like the PER3 gene, which determine how quickly your body builds up and breaks down the sleep hormone melatonin. If you carry a certain variant of this gene, your entire body physically resists getting up at 6 in the morning, your body temperature remains low, your melatonin levels are still high, and your brain is essentially telling you that it is the middle of the night. It is therefore not a lack of willpower when you hit the snooze button. It is simply your biology fighting against a clock on your nightstand. Deep inside your brain sits a tiny region called the suprachiasmatic nucleus. It is a cluster of thousands of cells that acts as the absolute master of your internal clock. It takes in light signals from your eyes and tells the rest of your body what time it is. In morning, people, this biological clock actually runs slightly faster than 24 hours, so they are always ready to wake up before the sun. But in night owls, this internal clock often ticks a bit slower. Left to their own devices, a night owl might naturally drift into a 24-and-a-half-hour day. This means every single morning their alarm forces them to wake up before their brain has finished its natural repair cycle. But this raises a very obvious question. If it is in our fundamental human nature to be active during the day in the bright sunlight, why has evolution not weeded out the night owls long ago? Why do these 20% still exist today, passing these genes down generation after generation? The answer is often called the sentinel hypothesis in the scientific community. Imagine you're living in the harsh prehistoric wilderness 100,000 years ago. The night is extremely dangerous. Leopards, hyenas, and other predators hunt in the dark. Rival groups might attack. If your entire tribe is fast asleep at the exact same time, you are all completely vulnerable. You are essentially offering yourselves up as a free meal. But if you are a mixed group where some individuals go to sleep extremely early and others naturally stay awake deep into the late night, then the campfire is never unguarded. Your overall vulnerability as a group drops drastically. Night owls were not the lazy slackers of the prehistoric group. They were the vital night watch. They kept the fire burning and they kept the tribe alive. The reason you feel so awake at midnight is because your ancestors needed someone to watch the shadows. But the modern world today is no longer a wild campfire. Much of modern life means strict cooperation and exact synchronization. The Industrial Revolution changed everything. When factories were built, they required hundreds of workers to be on the floor at the exact same time to operate the machines. School systems were designed to prepare children for those exact same factory hours. They start right on time at 8 in the morning. Classic office jobs demand full attendance and sharp concentration early in the day. Modern society has agreed on a fixed rhythm that is built almost exclusively for the majority of morning people and average sleepers. In a system that requires such strict cooperation, being a night owl is a massive structural disadvantage. You fight against your own biological rhythm every single day. Scientists have a term for this constant struggle. They call it social jet lag. It is the exact same physical feeling as flying across multiple time zones every single week, but you never actually leave your hometown. You spend your weekdays exhausted, forcing yourself to wake up early, and then you spend your weekends trying to pay off a massive sleep debt by sleeping until noon. This constant misalignment is linked to higher stress levels, worse digestion, and a generally weaker immune system. But despite the struggle, night owls also possess incredibly unique cognitive traits. Studies show that people with a late sleep schedule often exhibit completely different and highly valuable cognitive patterns. For example, morning people usually peak shortly after waking up, but their focus steadily declines throughout the afternoon. Night owls, on the other hand, can maintain their attention and alertness for much longer stretches of time. They often experience a massive second wind of energy late in the evening. They frequently show creative peak performance exactly when the rest of the world is long asleep. Their brain simply runs on a different shifted schedule, which allows for deep, uninterrupted focus during the quietest hours of the night. It is also worth noting that our chronotype, or our natural sleep preference, is not entirely static throughout our entire lives. Almost all teenagers naturally shift towards being night owls during puberty. Their melatonin release is delayed by several hours compared to adults. This is a biological reality, yet we still force teenagers to sit in classrooms at 8 in the morning when their brains are clinically asleep. As we get older into our 60s and 70s, the clock shifts back, making us wake up earlier. But the core difference between natural early birds and natural night owls remains present across the entire lifespan. Think for a moment about how our language and our culture treat this fundamental biological difference. We have phrases built into our society that constantly judge our sleep. We say the early bird catches the worm. We say early to bed and early to rise makes a man healthy, wealthy, and wise. Anyone who regularly gets up late is extremely quickly considered lazy, unmotivated, or undisciplined in our society. For countless generations, night owls have been unfairly judged and forced to adapt to a world that was not built for them. They have set incredibly loud alarm clocks, poured liters of strong coffee down their throats, and fought their own DNA every single morning, just to be considered productive members of society. Very often, this comes with the heavy price of chronic sleep deprivation and burnout. Thankfully, the modern working world is slowly beginning to understand this. With the rise of flexible working hours, remote jobs, and asynchronous communication, many night owls are finally finding environments where they can thrive. When they are allowed to work during their natural biological peaks, their productivity and creativity often skyrocket. They are no longer spending half their workday just trying to force their eyes open. So the next time you find yourself wide awake at midnight, feeling a wave of guilt because you should be asleep, remember this. Your brain had already made its choice long before society told you what time to clock in. Your rhythm is the echo of a time that is much older than modern working hours, bright office lights, or digital alarm clocks.